Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching y'all how to be a pro at Hole.io. I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks. I'm going to be showing you gameplay. I'm going to be giving you like tutorials on how to be good, because I'm really good at this game. I win more games than I lose. I'll put all the games I win at the outro, because I took the screenshot. I lost like 50 games and I lost just like 3 of them and I won the rest of them. And I consider winning by getting the first rank. Rank number 1. So the video is going to be divided basically into 2 parts. First part is me explaining the tips and then the tricks, and like giving you tutorials, telling you how each map works, explaining the maps and stuff. Then it's just going to be me teaching you how to do it, and then the second half will be me demonstrating it and gameplay at the very end. So before we go further into the video, I'm going to ask you all to subscribe and like the video, please. You don't have to like the video. I don't really care about likes that much. But please, please, please subscribe. I need subscribers because I need to surpass my friends. They're getting way more subscribers than me. I need to beat them. So, I'm not going to beg for subs any longer because I hate begging for subs. I hate even asking y'all for subs. But please, it would mean a lot to me if you just smack that big red button. Anyways, guys, let's jump straight into the video, guys. So, I want to start giving you some tips and tricks on how to be good. So, this isn't like strategy or anything, just like a few things you can do to make your game better. First of all, try to play on an iPad. So, an iPad gives you a much wider field of view than a phone does, because the screen's bigger, your thumbs don't take as much space. I'll show you on screen a phone view compared to an iPad view. iPad view is always much better. That's just the first thing you can do to make your game better, but if you just have an extra iPad laying around, or just like you have an iPad and you don't use it, and use your phone, just use the iPad. It's much better, much easier for the game. So, the second thing you need to do is you need to identify the big concentrations of nutrients. I call them nutrients, or points, whatever. Identify the big concentrations for every single map. Each map has its own big concentrations for the 4 stages of the game: early game, middle game, late game, and end game. So early game is basically when you just spawn in, you're running around, you're stuck in that little, the first level, which is usually where people are the longest. It's that first and second level, so that's basically early game. Mid game is when you're in like the first, like, this 3rd level to the 5th level. Then late game is basically until like the 10th level, and then end game is just when you're just like literally just like chonky. So the thing about end game is it's usually when like you're level anywhere from level 10 to level 20, which is the max size. You need to try to secure your victory in end game. You don't want to be fighting all the way to that timer. You usually need to be winning by the time you get into end game, so you can just defeat your opponents, destroy your opponents. So the kills, so at the very beginning of early game, you want to try to get a lot of kills, right? So you want to try to find the concentrations. You don't want to be going where everyone else is going. You want to go to the opposite area. You want to identify the little point concentrations right when the game's loading in. You want to get those. You want to size up into the level 2. Then you want to start eating everyone else who's still stuck at level 1. And that's really the only time kills are super important. So then after you kill a bunch of people there, you want to keep them low. Then after that, you want to go find another area away from everyone else where you can find another point concentration. Then after you find those point concentrations, you should be into late games. You should just be able to defeat your enemies from there while they were stuck in middle and early game. So then you should have your victory secured in end game. So each map has its own point piles for every stage of the game. So with the original city map, which is my favorite map, those the point piles at the very sort of early game are either those holes or those lines of yellow things. Those are super good. Now, those also can carry over to mid-game, but for mid-game, you need to be focusing on the parks. So, the parks are the thing in the original city map. You need to focus on the parks. The parks are the biggest concentration of points in the entire game. So, the parks are usually also surrounded by, like, huge concentrations of buildings, right? So, the parks can usually give you up, like, 4 or 5 levels. I mean, I don't know. It can give you up 2 to 3 levels, depending on where you are. So, then you're big enough to start eating those buildings. So what you want to do is you just want to pile in those buildings. You need to get those buildings before your opponents. Don't worry about kills. The only time kills are really, really good is in the pirate ship map. So I'm still talking about the city map though. There's also the cars. Those are pretty good. And there's those trees on the ground. Those are always super good too. For the early game, you need those yellow things and then the holes. And for mid game, you need the parks definitely. And then late game, you need to get those building concentrations. Those are also very good for in-game also. So the pirate ship map, I'm going to be talking about that next. So with the pirate ship map, you want to try to get those little plants. So
The best island to spawn on for early game is that island with like the school thing. So those have a huge concentration of those plants. So you just want to try to get all those plants and you want to consume your enemies and go to another island immediately. You don't want to try to be hanging around the island where everyone else is going to be eating and competing with you. So if you spawn on one of the other islands, don't go to the center. The center is the worst place to go because there's less plants in the center. You want to go to the edges where there's a lot of plants on the coast of those islands. The small plants that are good for early game. You want to try to get all those up, and then you want to start consuming some of your enemies, and you want to go to another island, and then you want to get all that entire area. So then the best place to go for mid game and late game is probably, I'll put a picture up on the screen in that video. You want to go to that island that I have on screen. That island's super good for middle game, just consume that entire area. Then for late game, you want to go to the 2 house islands. So I'm going to put on the screen all the islands. Or the main islands. The island that's best for early game is the school island. The island that's best for middle game is the that island that I have on screen right now. Then the 2 house islands are super good for late game, and then the 1 island that's good for in game is that castle island. Those are the biggest things. They're worth the most, but there's not a lot of them, and they're super big, so they're hard to get. You want to wait till in game to try to get that island. So you should, as long as you follow the strategy, you get a lot of points. In early game, you consume some of your enemies, you go to another island, you start taking it out, you get to middle game on that 1 island, then you eat all the houses in late game, and then you go to the end game and defeat that castle. You should be able to secure your victory. There's no chance that someone can beat you if you are doing all those steps. So Futuristic Island, my least favorite map because of how unforgiving it is. There's a lot of chances to get points, but they're usually all in one contained area. So the parks are not that big of a deal on this map. So for the original city, the parks are the thing. You need a park. You need at least one park if you're going to win, preferably the double park. But you can still win without the parks. So the Futuristic, the parks, this one park, and then it's actually a second park, but that park doesn't really matter. There's a big park and then a small park, but the small park doesn't really have any points for you, and really any stage of the game, they're not good. It's in the very corner of the map too. So the large park, it's pretty good. You can go there, get some stuff. Except what you need to do is you need to find those huge piles of 40 points. So in the early game, there's some piles of things that are just 40 points. Or you need to find the big stock piles of those boxes. The boxes are super good for early game. They can have around 5 to 15 points in them, depending on the box piles. Or you want to try to go to that mid park dancing area. There's a lot of humans there. You can consume the humans. So what you want to try to do is you want to get to those areas before anyone else does. Then you want to consume everyone else around you, and then just follow the strategies, consume everyone else around you, then do your own thing, get your own area. You should be able to go up. The parks are usually better for mid-game on that map, and then late game you try to go for those concentration of houses, and then for end-game you want to try to go for the other stuff on the edge. I don't really have that many tips for Futuristic map. It's my worst map personally, but I can still win on it most times because of just how good I am. Don't think of the other players as humans. Because dramatic plot twist, the other players aren't humans. Despite what the whole IO FAQ says, it says they're multiplayer, right? They're not. According to every other site I have found, those players are not multiplayers, they are bots. The game is lying to you. The FAQ of the game is lying to you. And I would believe the FAQ, but it's the same FAQ that convinced me I had a world record when I actually didn't. The Battle Royale game and the Classic game, you are fighting against bots. Only think of them as bots, and you need to outsmart them like bots. So now using all of those strategies, I'm going to show you a few games.
Alright guys, so today, well not today, just back with what I was doing. Alright, I'm going to be testing out those strategies that I told you to prove that those strategies do indeed work. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is try to find those yellow things. We're in the city map, the original city map, so yep, yellow things, very important to your success. Oh come on, I need one more point. Alright, also those garbage piles. Alright, so now I need to find a park. That is the new important thing that I need to do. Alright, we found a park. This is good. I'm going to try to level up one more time before I actually start messing with the park. Alright, now I am the king. I'm the king boy. So remember I always said the early game you try to get those yellow things. So, and in the mid game you try to get those parks. So I think I'm still in mid game right now, maybe like early late game. So, I want to get a little bit bigger before I try to mess with the stupid building thingies. I want to try to find the second park. That's always important. Okay, my biggest competitor has eaten most of the second park, but he didn't finish it because he's a bot, and bots are bad. We got him, boys. That's roasted every single bot in existence. We got him, boys. Alright, now I can start with these building thingies, like I was talking about, these building clusters. That's where to go during like late game. Let's get the courthouse too. It's pretty chunky. It's a chunkster, boy. You know, try to get these. Kill that guy. Kills really aren't that important right now. But let's just do that. Bloop. Get those kills. I mean, like, I've already basically secured my victory. Like, I'm in the end game. I've secured my victory. There's literally nothing that can stop me from winning. Now, I want to try it once for each map. I'm going to do the city map, and then the other map, and then the other map. Alright, this island's pretty whack. Oh, I want to consume some nutrients. Because nutrients are crunchy. I'm in the lead. I guess I'm pretty sure I've already just won this map. Alright, so just go to the coast. If you find yourself on one of these islands that spawn, you go to the coast. There's a lot of stuff on the coast for you. Eat some trees if you feel like it. Then maybe try to kill other holes to be good at the game. I don't know anymore. Maybe just murder this guy. Just keep the enemies low. Like, this is really the only point where kills are like a very big deal. After that, they're not as big of a deal. So, yeah. Try to find the other islands too. Other islands are good. That island right there is super good for mid-game, or basically where I am in the game. So, let's go just eat this entire island up. Secure my victory. Secure my victory. Bring my victory at this very moment. Right here. At this very moment. Let's go ahead and get this too. That island's good. Let's finish off this island, which is the one that I always say is good for early game. Boom. Got the school. This house island right here. Good for late game, which I am definitely in. I don't even think I'm in end game yet. Actually, no, I'm probably in end game. 1,000 points, definitely end game. Well, since I'm in end game, and you're in end game, what you do is you go over and you take out this castle island, which is pretty heckin' good. Okay, you don't want to worry about these as much. You just want to get that chunky circle. That's like worth 23 points or something. That's just worth 20 points. Yeah, the rocks. Okay, also that island, which is very good for mid or late game as well. But I'm eating it in end game because yes. Alright, well I just won another game of pirate ship. Alright, let's do the thing. The futuristic city. I showed you all my strategies for that. Yes, okay. Alright, this one I have to actually try on because futuristic city's pretty hard. Ooh, okay. Spawn next to these yellow things, which is there's 5 of them in this map. Oop, 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 oop. Alright, so I want to find those either boxes or those 40-point clusters. I think one of the guy found either... He found one of the boxes. Top guy found boxes. He's at 26. That's usually how many the boxes have. The 40-point clusters, like I say, have 40 points within them. I know where at least one of them are, but I know it's in a corner of the map. I'm just not sure which corner since the map rotates every single freaking time you play. So I need to find one of those, but I can't because I'm bad. Oh, I knew there was one right where that guy is. There's definitely one where those two guys are. Oh, and I'm losing. No. Okay, these are important right there. That's like 40 points right there. Or about close to that amount of points. Like, sometimes they have 20, sometimes they have 40, sometimes they have like 10, but they usually have around 30 to 40 points. Also, this area right here is really good for late game. The park's usually good for middle game right here. Parks are super good for middle game. I mean, like, they're really not as useful as they are on the original city map because there's so many other huge clusters of crap. These boxes are also very good for early game, but I'm eating them now because they're good for any part of the game, but they're most useful in the early game. So these... Oh, frick, I'm losing. Bro! Alright, I'm winning again. Alright, we got some kills. Okay, this park isn't as useful. It's not really as useful, but Alright, let's just eat this entire thing. Let's just like get ourselves a victory. Yes, we did it, boys. We got size max. Let's go. We ate the satellite dish. Crunchy. When you consume a satellite dish, crunchy. kill. Alright, so those were my strategies for each map. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I gave you some strategies for each map. I demonstrated them. I demonstrated why I'm good at the game. I just verbally told you strategies. I told you tricks. If you follow all these strategies, if for each map, you recognize your point clusters. Even you can go as far as memorizing the map. I cannot memorize map, but just remember, just identify your point clusters, kill people at the beginning, then do your own thing. Go eat, consume by yourself, away from people. So that's pretty much all I have for the video today. This is going to go in a new series called Mobile Game Domination. I've dominated a few other mobile games that I will be making videos on in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to. My friend just surpassed me, Stinky Bismarck. He surpassed me like a while ago because he makes 10 times more videos than me. But he's quitting YouTube for a year, so this is my time. I need to rise back up. Also, thank you all so much for 60 subscribers. So, that's all I have for today. Goodbye.